Hey everyone, Kristen Lustig here. Today I'm going to do some experimenting, kind of. I just realized I did not get the bubbles out. I've got my base coat down on a 12 by 24 canvas. It's just the white, Artist Loft White Flow acrylic. And I've got Floetrol in it. And I've got a little bit of water and Floetrol mix. So just getting some of the bubbles out of there. A couple weeks ago I did a video where I did a marbled background, and I lost the whole marbled background because it was, the canvas was too small. So, but I really liked how that looked, so I wanted to try it again on a bigger canvas with smaller flowers. So hopefully we can hold on to the marbled background. So what I'm going to do, I've got my 3 green colors. I've got Arteza Phthalo Green. I've got Arteza Prussian Green, which is a warm green. The Phthalo Green is a cool green. And then I've got some of the Deco Art Sour Apple, just to give it a little bit of brightness. So, let me get those lids off. Shake them up a little bit. None of my colors have silicone in them. Okay, I'm going to start with the dark one first. And I'm just going to squiggle it around. No, don't have to have any pattern or any special design because we're going to be tilting this. So, and because this is such a big canvas, I had a hard time getting it in focus or in the frame. So I'm going to have to make sure that I keep you guys in the frame today when I'm tilting. Okay, and then some of the Sour Apple, which is a craft paint, but it is one of my favorites. I haven't found one that I like as well that's in a tube paint, so I will keep looking, but so far the Deco Art Sour Apple is my favorite. Okay. So I've got that on there, so I'm just going to give it a little bit of a tilt. Oh, actually, no, I'm not. See, I forgot my steps already. I haven't done this in a couple weeks. I watched Scott Alexander Rivera. I think he just goes by Scott Alexander most of the time. But I watched him do this on a video and just really liked it. So I'm just using my spatula that I think I bought at Michael's actually, just to move those, break up those lines a little bit. And then we'll be tilting it. You don't have to do every single line, but you don't want to leave a lot of harsh lines, either hard lines, so. All right, got that. Now we can tilt. So I'm just going to tilt a little bit to move this around. It gives it more of the marble look. You don't want to tilt it off the canvas too much, so when it gets to the edge, when you see it getting to the edge, just pull back. Okay, I'm going to go back with my paint to the center. I'm going to move it in each direction to the other side. I'm going to let this run off this one side a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go back to the other side. And you can start seeing how, because I left some of the lines there, it just kind of gives it a veiny, marbly kind of effect with the other ones that are more muted. And hopefully this doesn't look too busy when I get my flowers on there. But I definitely wanted a background, a green background with some, to make it look like leaves and foliage. So I'm just tilting it back down. And hopefully we don't have too much paint on this canvas because we are going to be pouring bottle bottom flowers. But I think we're okay. Okay, let's make sure we got you back in the frame. We do for the most part. That actually looks really pretty by itself. I may have to experiment with some of that. This paint off of my hands. Okay, now I'm going to be doing bottle bottom flowers, and I have 3 different sizes I'm going to be using, and I'm actually going to do 4. I'm going to give this a quick torch again. I have 4. I'm going to do 4 flowers. I don't usually do that, an even number. I usually do an odd number. But the one flower is going to be big. So I think that will count as almost 2. I think we're okay. All right, got bubbles out. I'm going to put my lids back on my greens, and then we'll get started on the pinks and purple flowers. And I'm just going to tell you the colors as I go. I think I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colors. So I'm going to put my bottom, these are bottoms of pop bottles, soda bottles, water bottles, in case you haven't done any of these yet. And there is a line that is across there. So if you just cut into the bottle, cut it off, and then just go down and cut along that line, then you'll get a pretty even surface. So I had already decided I wanted to put one there. And I'm going to be using Scott Alexander's technique of pulling the flowers in instead of tilting them out. Because that's the problem I've had before when I've done multiple flowers with the bottom bottles or the strainers, is you have to tilt them, and it's really hard to tilt them all at the same time. So I'm hoping that this technique will help us with that. Okay, I'm going to go with a smaller one there, and a smaller one up here, and then I've got this medium-sized one, which was a soda bottle, I think. Or maybe it was a water bottle, I don't know. That I'm going to put over here. When I get all the flowers on, I may decide to do another something, but for now, that's the plan. Okay, I'm going to start with no, I don't want to do that. I want to start with a color, and I think I want to start with my darker. I have got dioxazine purple with some prism violet mixed up, which is by Liquitex Basics. And I think I'm going to do each flower individually, so they might not go in the same order. I might want to mix it up a little bit. But we're going to start here on the biggie, so we can see how far that goes. Okay, then I've got some pink color shift. When you're mixing up your paints, it's not a bad idea to do a color sample and let it dry if you have time beforehand, because your paints are going to look lighter, especially if you mix them with Floetrol and glue all, which is what I use. They're going to look lighter in the bottle, and they're going to dry darker. So just keep that in mind. Oh, that was the Folk Art Pink, Color Shift Pink, in case you didn't get that. Okay, then we're going to go with, I always like the color shift on the dark colors too, because they play off of those really well. And that purple dries really dark. That's why I mixed it with the Prism Violet, so it doesn't dry so dark. All right, we're going to go with the Liquitex Basics Medium Magenta. I just bought them with my birthday money. So that's going to go on top of the pink color shift. Then I'm going to throw in some Naples Yellow. And that is by Arteza. Okay, and then I've got Liquitex Rose Pink with Iridescent Medium. Got all the pinks and purples going on today. And then I've got Artist Loft Deep Magenta. And this one is deceiving because it does dry quite a bit darker. Okay, and then I have some Artist Loft Metallic White, but I have added some diamond dust to it to give it just an extra shimmer. So I'm not using metallics, but I am using some shimmer and some color shift in these. Okay, so there's flower number 1. Trying to decide whether I want to continue on to flower number 2, or if I want to pull that off. I think I'm going to pull it off. Just pull that off, and then I'm going to pull it in by using a paintbrush, just the end of the paintbrush. So all I do is push down. You have to push down pretty good, pretty hard. And what this does is it stretches the flower back inwards. So you don't have to worry about stretching the flower outwards. You get that stretch from it. And you do get a puddle in the middle, which I'm going to show you what to do with that. Okay. I'm going to suck that out with a syringe. And squish it out. almost there. And I am pushing down with the syringe too. Push down and it'll pull it in even more, and then you can suck it up. Very pretty. Gives a really pretty center. All right. I am not crazy about the fact that I did not put another color in on top of that white. So I'm going to use my skewer. And I'm going to pull in. I want to keep my petals round, so I'm just going to pull in from this yellow. Pull some of that color down in there. Just swirl that up a little bit. Voila, we have flower one. Okay, so we're going to work on flower two. I'm going to move that over just a little bit. All right, so I want to make them a little bit different. So I'm going to start with the deep magenta this time. And I'm going to go with some of the Liquitex Rose. The Liquitex Rose also has some of the iridescent medium in it. And then we're going to go with some of the dioxazine purple with the prism violet in it. Let's go with the pink color flash because I love it on top of the dark. And then I'm going to do a little bit of that Naples yellow because I really like it in that other flower. And then a little bit of the white. And I'm going to finish it off with some of the medium magenta. Now this one I won't have to pull in as much because the bottom is, the bottom is smaller. Let that run off a little bit more. And I did, very important when you're doing these bottle bottoms, I did check to make sure my canvas was level. Okay, we're going to pull that center in and stretch those petals out. Well, you're stretching them in, but you know what I mean. Okay, I'm going to get some of that out of there. Give it a I actually think I like the way the syringe pushes it down better on the canvas. Get some more of that green out of there. You can really get in there and take out what you want, what you don't like. Okay, there's another pretty flower. We'll give that a little swirl in the middle. Give it a center. And I don't probably should pull all of those in since I did that. I'm just going to pull it in from the yellow. Just kind of give them a uniform look. I'm going to suck out some more of that middle on that one. Running out of room here. That green was puddling and I didn't like it. I'll let that sit for a minute and I'll go back and swirl that middle. I might put some white back in there. Okay, third flower, looking good so far. Where are we at? Let's start with the medium magenta this time. These smaller ones only have 4 petals, so it's a little different. I'm going to go with some of the Rose Pink by Liquitex. Let's go with some of the Naples Yellow. I'm not going to use as many colors this time with this one. Some of the Color Flash. Dioxazine Purple and Prism Violet. A bit of the white. Let's finish it off with some of the deep magenta. Always put your hand underneath there when you're pulling those bottom bottles up, because you want to make sure you're not going to drip into the rest of your painting. Okay, that syringe in there. I just gave that a little swirl with the syringe, and that kind of came out cool. Pull those in. Alrighty. got another, did I use 2 mediums? Yeah, so 2 mediums and 1 little. But actually the little flower looks almost as big as the medium flower, so interesting. All right, last flower. Gonna go with some dioxazine purple to start with. And the medium magenta. Some white. This is the Color Flash pink. Some of the deep magenta. Just a little bit more white. I'm going to pull that into the center a little bit. I'm really loving that marbled background with my flowers. Okay, take that one off. I'm just going to try with the syringe this time. When I first saw this done, I thought, oh my goodness, he's going to ruin his canvas. But it really doesn't ruin it. The canvas is, because it's gessoed, it really is resilient. And it pretty much pulls right back up. Plus you don't see it. If you look at the back side, you'll see it a little bit. But you don't see it very much. You don't see it at all on the top. The paint dries flat. I'm just going to go in here and suck up. I don't like this green. Take out the green. Alright, go in there with my skewer. Oops, other end. Pull that in. Always wipe your skewer after you pull it in. Okay. If you push down with that syringe and then just tilt it to the side a little bit, it'll start sucking up paint. There's a little twirl in the center. Okay. Now I had another idea while I was working. I don't know if I should do it or not. Let's see what it looks like on camera. Okay, I think I want to add a little bit more. I'm just going to put dots in there of the medium magenta, I think. Because I just don't like how white those are. So I'll probably have to suck up some more paint. I'm going to pull those down. Beautiful. Much better. Except I want to swirl those out a little bit. There we go. Don't like those straight lines. Try not to mess up that middle because that middle is really cool now. Take you guys in for a close-up. No silicone in any of this. You could put a little bit of silicone in and try that and see what you get. All right, and that should dry nice and flat. The paint isn't really not that thick because I only did one round of the colors. So we didn't get too much paint on there. When I put my stick in it, it just barely goes down. So those should dry nice and flat, and that's, you know, if you're using your pouring medium and your Floetrol, which is your paint extender, you should not have, there's a bubble over there. You should not have any cracking. You know, every once in a while you'll get a little bit of pitting if the paint's too thick. But once you varnish over that or resin over that, it's fine too. Oh, so I was going to say, my other idea that I had, that I don't know if it'll mess this up or not, was doing a half flower in the corners. I think I have another big one. So if we could try to get like 3 petals in that corner, I might have to, let me see, will that hold it up? I think that's too big. Let's just see what happens. I don't think it's going to mess it up. And those, let's see, let's get those so that those 2 drips drip over, and then we'll have these 3 that'll make petals. So 1, 2, 3, and let those drip off. I just think it'll give it some more interest in the corners. So let's try this. So I'm just going to drip the paint in those 3. Always experimenting. was the Color Flash. This is the, I believe, deep magenta. Yeah, deep magenta. Let's give it some white. We've got one petal flowing off the other side. A little bit of yellow. Let's go with the medium magenta. And then a little bit of the rose. Let that come down. I just realized I'm probably going to have to go get another one because I'm going to need to, I don't really like to use the dirty ones. Okay. I think I was on a piece of wood there. I'm going to pull this way with this paintbrush. All right. See if we can give it. I think I'm going to scrape the green off. And then I'm going to use my, no, do I want to use my baby one? See, this is the problem with experimenting. I need to give it a center.